Hello everyone and welcome back to Fan Interference with Wichita Wingnuts manager Pete Rose Jr. Fan Interference is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the Wichita manager questions about the Wingnuts, baseball or sports in general, or just seek Pete's wisdom about life events that are going on out there. In this week's episode, Pete talks to us about the 6-3 road trip. He tells us the funniest thing he ever said during an argument with an umpire, and Pete shares his thoughts on Father's Day. So let's get right to Fan Interference. Well, let's welcome back manager Pete Rose Jr. Pete, do you have team updates for us?
Yeah, we signed Garrett Gold. We had to make a move. We put Wilson on the DL, having a little shoulder, some shoulder trouble, inflamed. But we put him on the DL and signed Garrett. Garrett was here last year. He's a local kid, so we want Willie to get healthy. He's got really good stuff. But on the other hand, we don't have the luxury as MLB teams do as far as having multiple guys on the DL and doing this and everything, obviously with independent ball. But Garrett came in. He's going to throw out of the bullpen. He was a starter for us last year, and he ended up getting hurt, rehabbed. So I think a second or third round pick with the Dodgers. Great guy to have on the team. Great guy in the clubhouse. Great stuff. But we're going to give Willie some time to get right and get back out there, and we'll go from there. But it's a luxury to have where you can just pick up a phone and the guy can just drive over, and you don't have to go out and search, and you can fill it with a quality guy. But other than that, we're a little banged up, but I mean, who's not a month in? But we're moving right along. We're doing all right.
Before we head to fan questions, I first of all wanted to ask, so you go 6-3 on the road trip. You have the 3 walk-off losses. Is there a sense you walk away from that thinking we should have come away 9-0, or you just don't even focus on that at this point?
I think I think you focus on how much better we're going to be with those 3 walk-off losses. I mean, to be walked off 3 straight nights and then to come back and finish the trip the way that we did, I think it's going to make us a better team in the long run. I mean, some teams can just fold. Should we have won those games? Yeah, probably, but baseball is baseball. I mean, tip your hat to them for walking us off, but I think the way we handled it shows what kind of group we have in there, and I think it's going to make us better, in the long run as far as, if we're up in the 9th, or, it's never over, or, hey, if they walk us off, all right, big deal, we'll come back tomorrow, and, we'll go from there. So we could have been 9-0, but we went 6-3, a really good trip for us. Obviously, you want to try to split on the road and win at home, so we won on the road. So, we're playing okay. I mean, we can get better in a lot of aspects, and, we still got a long way to go. It's a long season, and we just got to continue to go out and keep playing hard, and things will start to fall into place, and, hopefully at the end we'll have a chance to, go play for some hardware.
Matt Chavez right now is just destroying the ball, and I'm wondering if you look at him each night. I know you're happy to have him, but are you looking at this and going, why is this guy even here?
We said it last year, and you just keep saying it, and you just don't understand it. But you can't do nothing about it. It's something you don't want to dwell on. You don't want to dwell on it for him. You don't want to dwell on it for our other guys. I think everybody knows that he shouldn't be here. I think everybody knows that Middlestat shouldn't be here, and Kane shouldn't be here, and a lot of our other guys. I don't think Leo should be here, or Prigatano, or any of our guys. And then you look at our pitchers, but yeah, I think you can't dwell on that, because they got to come in, they got to play every day, and they do that. So we don't worry about stuff we can't control. We just worry about what we can control, and that's him going out every night and playing hard, and trying to drive in runs and play good defense. But hopefully something will happen for him as well as with the other guys. And I've said it from day one. I mean, that's what my job is here, is to get these guys up out of here and get them into affiliation and give them a chance to play at the next level. But until then, we're just going to keep doing what we do, and he's going to keep playing first and hitting fifth and doing what he does. And he fits in with us. And like I said, or like you just said, I'm happy to have him. I'm lucky to have him, and he's a quality player, and he's an even better kid.
Alex Bouchier's had such a big year for you last year, became your ace. Kind of struggled a little bit. I know you have a great deal of confidence in him, but is there something in that you're looking and having a little concern about him at this point?
We just want him to get back to being himself. I think sometimes if you get a reliever and he kind of gets out of the bullpen and kind of becomes a starter, which he's done. Maybe sometimes they don't know. They try to do a little too much, maybe overthink a little too much, maybe try to be perfect. Maybe that's with him, but he threw the ball better yesterday after the third. So hopefully he's getting back to his form. to where he was last year. But last year. I got confidence in Bosch. I mean, he's come from nothing, and he was our ace. But it's one of those things. Sometimes we talked about that a number of times. Sometimes guys get off to not a good start, or not as good as last year, but they'll find it. I mean, his numbers don't lie from last year. He's still there. It's still him. I think he's just got to kind of find himself and quit trying to do too much and just go out and be himself. And I think that'll happen here shortly.
Do you feel like in some way maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself because of the success he's
Sure. I mean, I think anybody would. Going from being a rookie bullpen guy to pitching Game 3 of the championship series in the American Association, and then pitching opening day for us, I think definitely putting too much pressure on himself. But that's not coming from us as a staff. We tell him on a daily basis, just go out and be yourself and throw like you can. If you get hit, you get hit. Tip your hat, get back on there, and keep at it. But he's usually good with strike one. Hadn't been really good with strike one this year, and that can kind of let you know he's maybe trying to do a little too much. But I'm sure that's what it is. And you know what? He's young. We forget that. We forget he's still a rookie or an LS1 this year. But when you look at him, you think he's a veteran. You think he's an LS4 or 5, but he's just an LS1. So you're gonna have to deal with some of those younger mistakes that guys make, and he'll be fine. He'll figure it out, and he'll get back to being himself, I'm sure.
I think it was last week we were talking about, somebody had asked you about guys, wanting to increase their numbers each year, and then they get out of whatever it was that was making them successful because they're trying to be something else.
Sure.
With a young guy like that, is that kind of the common mistake that they want to do?
It's like that not only with a young guy, but with an older guy, with a middle-aged guy. Everybody always wants to do better, and obviously being here and not being signed, they think that there's something that they have to do different. And we've talked to them about it, and I've talked to a lot of guys about it. You don't have to do anything different. You just got to be yourself. And if you hit 330, and if you're the same the next year, there's a good chance you may hit 340. But if you try to hit 340, probably a good chance you're going to hit maybe 270. And it's more so with younger guys because obviously you're not playing as many years as the older guys, but older guys do it as well as the younger guys. And I think it's a little harder for the younger guys to understand that because they always think the body's not very many injuries, not many aches and pains, so I can do more, I can do this, try to overdo it. So but I think it's like that with a lot of guys. I mean, it's kind of the nature of the game, and if you can just be yourself and just stay the same, usually your numbers are just going to keep producing and keep doing the same and keep doing the same. But I've done it as a player myself. I mean, it's just common. It's just kind of how it is.
Well, let's head to fan questions. First is Trevor from Hutchison. He says, Pete, are you satisfied with the bullpen to this point, or do you see the team needing to make a move?
I think the bullpen's doing a great job. I mean, Willie's hurt and Garrett's down there now. Charlie's been back on the shelf for a couple starts, but he's going to start tomorrow. So I think Eddie's going to be back in the bullpen to maybe piggyback him tomorrow. And Eddie's been doing a great job in the rotation. But I think the bullpen's fine. I mean, I think just starting to find their roles, starting to get into a rhythm. When you got Campbell, Devine, Harvey down there. You throw in Goose and Brown, you throw in now Garrett Gold's down there, you throw in Pratt, who can give you multiple innings. You can come in the 8th, come in the 9th if need be. It's a great bullpen to have, and I'm very happy with what they're doing. We had 3 walk-offs, but you know what? Hey, that's baseball. It happens. But they're doing fine, and I just think they're just going to get better, throughout the year. And I don't think we need to make a move. I'm not a big move kind of guy. I think they got to kind of find their place, and if you keep making moves and bringing guys in and out, I think it's bad chemistry, and you gotta let them go out and fail. And I think if they understand that it's okay if they give up a run or a hit, they'll get to where they need to be a lot quicker than going out and trying to press. So we're all right down there, and like I said, if we have to make a move injury wise, then we go out and do it. But I think everything else is kind of going the way it's planned.
Next up is Billy from Wichita. He says, I heard some say they were concerned that you had one extra guy on the bench. The way that your lineup has been playing, that does not look like it's much of an issue.
Well, I mean, we kind of knew what kind of position players we had coming into the season. You just kind of let them loose and just stay out of the way. But, the guy that came in, being our one guy on the bench, is actually probably swinging maybe not as good as Matt Chavez, but he's right underneath him, and that's Zach Fisher. I mean, Freddie's been swinging from the day he got here, so it's a good thing. I think it's okay. I mean, just with our versatility with TJ and a lot of other guys that can play multiple positions, can play corners, can play wherever. I think it's a good problem to have. TJ's going to play right tonight. Prigg's going to have the night off. Obviously, so we're versatile. So it's not like we need 3 or 4 extra guys on the bench. But it's starting to get hot. So we're going to have to maybe give guys a day off here and there, just kind of keep their legs. But I kind of like it because they know what they're doing coming in, and they can just get their mind right and be ready for 7 o'clock.
I hear a lot of people talk about the bench aspect of it. I always thought my part I want to ask you more about is when you carry so many relievers, is it hard to get guys work at that point because of that?
Yeah, I mean it is, but it's not. I mean, you always have guys that come up sore. You always have guys, little nick, little thing here that they're down. This guy's up. So I think the more relievers you have, the better off you're going to be. Just because you can never have enough arms down there, and you don't want to run your bullpen to death early in the year. And obviously Cap's done a good job as far as that. And I just say you do what you want to do, and we'll go from there. And I was never a pitcher, so I don't really know too much about it. But we can try to give guys maybe run them out there 2 days in a row and then give them a day, or if you can stay away from them, you try to do that. But it's good to have the extra pitcher. I mean, we didn't last year. I think we had 12 position players last year, or 11, and then we had a less pitcher last year. But I like how it's been working. It's been working for us, so we'll stick with it as long as we can, I guess.
Next up is Sheila from Wichita. She says, "Tell the truth, Pete. You were glad to see Salina win against someone else, so that you were not the only team they lost to."
Of course. I think we celebrated it here, but like I told you, they're a good team, man. I mean, they're really tough to play. I mean, I know that sounds crazy. They've only won 2 games, and maybe everybody says this because they beat us, but I'd much rather play a Sioux City, a Winnipeg, a Fargo, a St. Paul, more so than a Salina. I mean, they have absolutely nothing to lose, and you have everything to lose. And they battle. They play hard. But yeah, we were super excited that they won down in Claiborne, and you knew they're going to win. You knew they're not going to just have only one win, or maybe maybe they'll sweep us next week when we go up there. Wouldn't that be something? But I don't like playing them. I can tell you that much, and I'm sure if you talk to other managers, it's just not fun. I mean, it's just a bad matchup. I mean, it really is, and I think they're going to win. They're going to surprise some people. I guarantee them. Once they get some guys in the bullpen, that can throw strikes and get some guys out. I mean, they swing the bats really well. They play good defense, and they're a road team, man. You got to give them credit. You got to tip your hat to them. But I was really glad that we weren't the only team.
Tom from Wichita would like to know, how are you finding the pitching staff transition from Luke to Anthony?
I think it's great. I mean, they're doing a great job. I mean, Cap does a great job. It's funny. I would have never guessed this from last year, just because Cap was always in the other room. But Cap's a lot like me. I mean, he's laid back and kind of lets them go out and do their thing, and lets them go be good. Lets them go be great. I mean, he does his work. They get their work in. You don't have to worry about him. Same thing with Luke. I mean, you never have to worry about him getting their work in and being ready to go. But it's been great. I mean, I'm like I said, I was lucky to have him last year, and I'm really lucky to have Cap this year. I think it was a great move on Josh's part and getting him in here. I mean, obviously he's got history here with Wichita State and pitching here, but he's doing a fantastic job.
Davey from Derby asks, he says, "This was about the point last season when you guys really caught fire. Do you think the Wingnuts will do that again this year?"
I just think we're going to keep, just like last year. I don't think we ever thought about catching fire. We just show up on time, and we're going to play hard. That's what we're going to do tonight against Kansas City, and try to go out and win a series, and whatever happens. But we've been playing okay. I mean, like I said, we talked about it last week. We can always get better. Defense needs to clean up a little bit. Some base running stuff. Obviously, you can always get better at the plate. But we're okay. I mean, I like where we're at. I like the way they're playing. That's one thing. We play hard all the time, and that's all you can ask for. And like I said, we're on time. That's never been a problem. So we're doing okay. We're not where we need to be, but we're on our way. We'll put it that way. But I like what I see out of our guys.
Millie from Wichita would like to know, she says, "I don't know if it feels this way to you, but when I'm in the stands, it sure looks like umpires are trying to be confrontational with you."
Well, I mean, I don't know. If you want to, if you said it, okay, you can say that. I'll agree with you. But yeah, I don't know. It's like we were saying earlier. It's just been a little bit different year as far as that aspect of it. But maybe it's because I got ejected a lot last year, and maybe they don't think I'm a nice guy and personal. I just don't. I'm really superstitious. Obviously, you know that from talking. But I never take the lineup card up. I'll let Jimmy do it, and he's done it from day one last year. And we started to win, and he just kind of does it. He knows ground rules better than I do, so he just kind of does. I think some guys get, I don't want to say bent out of shape about that, but maybe that's what it is. But you know what? It doesn't really matter what they think. I'm not going to change. We're going to keep doing what we do, and if they want to do it, hey, that's fine. It's just as long as they don't be confrontational with my guys, I'm good to go.
Also included in umpires, Stan from South Wichita would like to know, what is the funniest thing you ever said to an umpire during an argument?
Man, I don't know. I usually black out when that happens, so I don't really remember what I say. There's only been a couple good ones, but I don't think our younger listeners' ears would qualify for that. So, but there's been some good ones, a couple good ones this year already. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more good ones this year, but if I can remember a funny one, maybe we'll leave that for a later show, and I can remember that.
Ian from Florence asks, he says, woohoo, what a day for the Reds that Scott Gannett had. How would you rate 4 home runs and 10 RBIs in one game in terms of all-time single games?
That's pretty good. I mean, I don't see how you, I don't know how you top that. I remember when Mark Whitten hit 3, but what a day. I mean, what a day for any big league player. I mean, to have 10 RBIs in a day and 4 homers, that's a good career if you ask me. But I mean, it's got to stick out as probably one of the greatest days ever, I'm sure. I mean, just in a single game, it wasn't even a doubleheader. So, yeah, what a day for him. I mean, he's brand new to the Reds, and I think he came over from the Brewers. I think actually TJ played with him in the minor league. So, but yeah, what a day, man. I mean, I don't know how he's doing now, but I know that day probably raised his average and put him in the league leaders for RBIs, I'm sure.
I think he was kind of a late signing by the
Yeah, they got him, I think, with a day or so left in spring training. They got him off waivers from the Brewers. So
that was good position there. So Bob from Kansas City would like to know, he says, this seems like an argument every year, but he's curious what you think. Do you think every team should have a player on the All-Star team?
Yeah, I do, because when I was growing up, every team did. That's what the rule was, and I think every team needs to be represented. Obviously, the starters are a lot different. The fans vote the starters, but yeah, I like that rule. I think every team needs to send somebody, just because hey, if no Red makes it and you're from Cincinnati and you don't see anybody at the All-Star game, you're probably not going to watch the All-Star game. So I think that each team should be represented. I remember back in the day, it was always one Padre, one Brewer, one Ranger, one Giant maybe, and then the rest Dodgers and Reds and maybe a couple Phillies and what have you. But yeah, I like that rule. I think it should. I think it is now. I think each team has to have one, yes. Which I think they need to leave it that way. They're changing too many anyway. Too many rules.
They expanded the roster, I think, to ensure that.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, that way you don't have a tie, and you don't. It's different today. I mean, I remember my dad would play the whole game. Now you have 2 at bats and take it to the house. So, but yeah, I'm glad they expanded the roster so we don't get in that tie crap again.
Barry from Kansas City asks, he says, Pete, I know that, he says, I just have to know, as a Penguins fan, if your hatred for Pittsburgh extends to all Pittsburgh teams.
Mike Devine on our team's a big Penguin fan, and I was actually rooting for him because of Mike Devine. But they're still black and yellow, and they're from Pittsburgh. But what a team, man! The last game was amazing. We watched it, and the goal they scored to win it, off the back of the goalie's elbow was amazing. But I'll give them the Penguins. They're a really good team. I like watching them, but we won't talk about the other team. Pirates are okay, I guess. Willie Stargell, our family team, was okay, but the other team we won't talk about the other team. So
maybe when you watch the Penguins, you can watch it black and white or
something just to get the black and yellow out of there.
Fan from Cleveland asks, why is it a seem that some teams are never any good? Browns, Lions, teams like that. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I think the Browns they should be good, and I think they're going to be good. And we talked about this too with Hugh. They just change their coaches too much. I I mean, you look at all the good football teams. I mean, they have a culture. They have a head coach. It's not one and done. It's not it's. I'm not going to say it's my philosophy, but I like what they do. Is they give guys chances to come in and fail and fall on their face and know it's okay to do that and just work to get better. And next thing you know, they're in the playoffs. But some of them teams are just, you don't know who their head coaches are. You don't know who their quarterbacks are. You don't know who their best players are. That's the thing. And they always draft high in the draft. So it's got to be who's running the show as far as it's either Cleveland, new general manager, new quarterback, new head coach. I mean, obviously I think it's Hugh's third year up there, and I think he's going to do a great job. I wish we had him in Cincinnati, but I think they just leave him alone. I think they'll be okay because they got really good draft picks.
Owen from New York would like to know how you feel about players holding out for more money when they have a contract.
I mean, that's the players aspect of me coming out of it. Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think they're not only playing for themselves, but they're for their family, for all that stuff. So I think it's a good deal. But from a office standpoint, it's not good because once your contract runs out, and I think it's the whole thing is them trying to just not go through a contract battle and try to get it done early so they can kind of settle in and know, hey, I'm going to be here and kind of go from there. So I think it goes both ways.
Stuart from Mays asks, he says, can you believe that gunman shot a congressman on a baseball field? That's just sacrilege.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, it was just, is it really that important? I mean, start shooting people at a baseball field. I mean, there's a whole another team that they were on the other field and just, whatever. But it's crazy. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you think what kind of world we're actually living in. I mean, when is politics really that important to go out and shoot people, on a baseball field? And the sad thing is they were getting ready to go play the charity, that charity baseball game. I think it's tonight. Yeah. And they were saying some, millions of dollars are going to raise for charities. It's like, or $500,000. I think $600,000 it was. I mean, that's just it's sad. It's really sad because they're doing that for these are senators and Congress people. They're doing this for great causes. And, Boys and Girls Clubs and different kind of charities. And have some stupid guy go out and do that. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all.
Sean from Junction City would like to know, are your brothers mad that you were the one who was Pete Jr.?
I only have one. He's a half brother. Don't care. He can wear it. I was first. I was a baseball player. He wasn't. So we'll leave it at that. And then obviously my son is Pete too. He's the third, but named after my dad. But who cares?
Our last question for this week is, since it's Father's Day this weekend, if you could thank your dad for one thing in particular, what would it be?
Tough one. Just for being my dad. I mean, I got to have my dad be my idol, and actually, I wanted to be exactly like my dad, so I got to, go to the ballpark and do all that other stuff. But just thank him for being my dad. I mean, he's a great dad, idol, best friend. He's got more hits than anybody, so I could say that about my dad's got more hits than anybody else's dad. So I mean, that's a cool thing. But it was great. I mean, just thanks for being dad.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us.
You got it, man. Anytime.
Hey, I want to let you know too that JD signed a AAA guy from last year. Cody, his last name, I believe it is. We want to thank manager Pete Rose Jr. for joining us on Fan Interference this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask the Wichita Wingnut skipper, please send them to us at askpete@minorleaguesportsupport.com. That's askpete@minorleaguesportsupport.com. Please have your questions to us by Sunday evening so we can give Pete a little time to review them before we record the show. I'm Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report. We'll see you next time on Fan Interference.